I'm gonna show you how I took my back from this to this. And I'm gonna show you how you can do it too.
Well, you didn't think we were gonna sit at a desk and grow our back, did you? I'm gonna show you guys how to grow your upper back, your middle, and your lower back. A lot of people throw these pullovers in at the end of the workout as a burnout. I don't recommend that. If your primary goal is to grow your back, okay? What I would recommend is starting with pullovers. Maybe a warm-up set or two, maybe 1 to 2 actual working sets. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Step back a little bit so you get that full stretch. You see how my arms are fully extended and the stretch is on the lats at this point. What I want to do is actually pull towards the body and go right towards the bottom of the stomach. I don't necessarily want to do this and go all the way back, because at the end of that movement, once I get here, now I'm working my rear delts and some of the upper back, and our goal is to grow these lats to get nice and wide, right? So you actually want to stop right before you get to that position. Right here is good. About 5 or 6 months ago, I said, man, my back is not where I want it to be. What can I do? Start with some pullovers. That's a pro tip. Really get the muscle pre-exhausted. And then everything else that you do after that
is what I call icing on the cake. But on top of that, it's a low injury risk movement. And it's a great way to just start the workout and get the blood flowing into the muscle. At this point, this is where everybody's probably gonna recommend some type of pull down, right? And I think that those are a great exercise for your back overall. We'll get into those towards the end of the video. I'm gonna go into rows.
One thing that you gotta keep in mind if you really wanna activate those lats, get that back wide, is you don't wanna flare your elbows out. You wanna keep them tucked into the body as tight as you can. Drive your elbows back, like this. Driving it right into the body. Oh man, that stretch is amazing. This is one of the ways that I really blew up my back. You want that full stretch, driving the elbow right into the body as close as you can get. Again, guys, if the weight is too heavy for you to control it like you see me doing it right now, just lower the weight down. You're gonna get so much stronger, but you're gonna get stronger with the right form. So when you start adding the weight back up, you'll have the right technique. And that's what you want more than anything else. In bodybuilding, this is an art. Even if you have no plans of getting on stage, you want to train like a bodybuilder. Mind-muscle connection, proper technique over everything. I'm going to show you guys my #1 go-to exercise for the middle back and the upper back. I've been doing these now for about 6 months. It's completely transformed my back. So if you have this in your gym, you definitely want to be doing some T-bar rows. First, I'm going to show you what not to do. You definitely don't want to do that. If you can see, yeah, the weight's heavy, right? And it feels good to put that type of weight on. But what we're going for is that mind-muscle connection, and there's no way that I can do that with that type of weight. So go ahead and lower it. Chest against the pad, full stretch, all the way back. All the way back. Good squeeze. Right there. Right there. And if you need to bring your chest off the pad just slightly at the top, that's okay too. I would recommend doing a weight where you can get 8 to 12 good, solid, full stretch reps. And every now and then, if you want to do stuff like 5 reps, 6 reps, even 15, it's okay to switch the weight up. But do what you think is best for you.
And when I say do what's best for you, what I really mean is that if a particular exercise causes you to feel that muscle that you're trying to work more than another, that's probably the exercise you want to stick with.
All right, so if your gym does not have a T-bar row like I just showed you, you can do this and it's just as effective. So just grab you some dumbbells and you can do chest supported dumbbell rows. I actually really like the stretch on these too. I'm down here letting it stretch all the way on the lats. And then we're pulling to the bottom of the stomach. The bottom of the stomach. And getting that squeeze right in there. That's what you want. Keep in mind, everybody wants to tell you, this is the exercise that you have to do, and this is the best one, and don't do that. You guys got to play around with some of these things on your own to find out what works for you.
Now, I needed more rows just because of the way that my back was built and how I trained over the years, but you may need more pull downs.
You're not going to grow the back without pull downs. Now, you see some people doing this, right? They're working their entire body when they do that, their neck and everything, and we don't want that. We want to minimize that. And don't stick with just one hand position. So some people argue, should it be supinated? Should it be pronated?
Wide pronated, wide supinated, and what they found was really interesting.
I don't think it really matters, to be honest. I think the pronated grip, which is your traditional grip, is very good, like I said, to work that upper portion of the lats. But man, I got some really good gains, even by doing an underhand grip that works a lot of middle to upper back. I would throw that in too as well. I wouldn't get too caught up with that type of stuff. In fact, I've heard people say, if you want to get a wide back, you got to go super wide on your grip. And you know what? You can do that, and that can be very beneficial. I actually feel it more in my lats when I use a close grip. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So, right here again, the mag grips, which put a little more tension on your forearms, like Popeye. That's what we want. And the same thing, we want to keep the elbows in towards the body, driving it towards the bottom of the chest. Because if I were to come here, I'm working a lot of my upper back that way, right? If I'm doing stuff like that. But if I'm bringing it all the way up with a full stretch, leaning back slightly, and bringing it down here, oh man, the stretch that you get in your lats is phenomenal. And keep in mind, this is with a close grip. So one of the things that I use from time to time are lifting straps, especially on back day. They can be good for you. However, if you're a beginner, I would not recommend using the lifting straps. And the reason is because I want you to develop your grip strength. You need the forearm strength, that grip strength first. Once you build that, then you can put the straps on, and it's icing on the cake. This machine right here that I want to show you, if your gym has it, you've got to use it, because I don't know of anything, at least for me, that gives me a better stretch on that upper portion that connects right into like the tricep area where the chest and the lats all come together. So those pull downs, those rows, we're working a lot of the lower lats, and you want that if you want a wide back. But keep in mind that this muscle right up in here also needs to be worked as well. And this machine forces me to really target that. If you look right here at the top portion of this movement, watch when I come down right here. You can see that muscle activating. You can see it. And then when you get down towards the bottom, you're working a lot of those lower lats, everything like that. But this is just a fantastic movement to work the lats overall. But in my opinion, that upper portion of the lats, there's just nothing like it. With this movement here, you can also stand up, put your knees against the pad, and this puts you at a slightly different angle where you're going to work a lot of your middle back and your upper back in a way that you probably don't hit. I like to do this at the end of my workout. That's kind of like a back burnout. I get a really good squeeze, no need for a super heavy weight on this. If you follow these tips I'm giving, you're gonna start walking through doors sideways like that. But I bet you probably like that, huh?
I came across some Mike Minster style workouts and really started to incorporate that. In fact, actually changed my entire workout routine into the Mike Minster style. Well, a version of the Mike Minster style. I would do 1 or 2 warm-up sets on there, and then I would do 1 set to failure. What I realized is that this was a great way to actually learn the movement, get stronger, allow my body to recover. But for me personally, I needed a little bit more volume. So what I did was those 2 warm-up sets plus 2 actual working sets to failure. Really, there's so many different ways that you can do it. One of the most important things to remember, always remember, to bring the intensity. Always try to get better. If you're not looking forward to your workouts, why are you not looking forward to them? What is your motivation? What is your why? Why do you want to get in the best shape of your life? Remind yourself of that and then take action.
Never, ever, ever go too long without doing body weight pull-ups. They are the bread and butter of back days. People have been doing that for what? Hundreds, thousands of years. Before we had gyms, before we had weights. You can probably find 1,000 videos online about pull-ups, but here's one thing that I'll tell you that's a little different. Let's say your pull-ups are not where you want them to be. You're not the type of guy that can just bang out 10, 15, 20 pull-ups. That's okay. Who said you had to do 3 sets of 10, 4 sets of 8? Instead of saying to yourself, I can't do 10 reps, 3 sets, which would be a total of 30 reps, probably take you about 10 minutes, maybe 12 minutes with a little bit of rest in between. Why not switch it up and do what an old school bodybuilder named Lee Haney used to do, where you could do like 6 sets of 4 reps. So I'd hop up on here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Take about 30 seconds, catch my breath, bang out another 4 reps. Because it's better to do that, 4 good reps, right, than this. You don't want that. When I started adding these in, I didn't tell anybody I was doing these, but they took my back to another level. It's something that I started doing. You can do this at the beginning of your workout, or you can finish back day like that. We've already worked on the upper back, we've already worked on the lats, we've worked on the middle back, but what about that lower back? Let's talk about everybody's beloved deadlifts. It's a great exercise, and if you want to get strong, do deadlifts. However, if your back's not growing the way that you want it to, and you care about how you look when you look in the mirror, and you're going for physique, I would leave the deadlifts alone. I'd really take a break from them. One of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of the deadlift is because it taxes the entire body. And I still haven't even figured out, like, is it a leg movement? Is it a back movement? I mean, it works almost everything. And if you're training 5-6 times a week, you're gonna be super fatigued doing deadlifts. And I just don't think that the risk reward is quite there on that particular exercise. So if you love them, keep doing them if it's working for you. But for me, I don't deadlift anymore at all. That's where rack pulls come into play. We're all different heights. I'm 6'2", right? I don't know what height you are. I also don't know if you have any pre-existing injuries, if you have back pain, things like that. So I use a back brace when I do this particular exercise. We're going right below the knee and up. Down slow. Let the weight drop completely. Back up.
Strengthening the spinal erectors, the lower back, the traps, the forearm strength, all of that stuff. And you can also get pretty strong with the rack pulls too. So that's it. There's a ton of different back movements that you can do, but that's what worked for me. That's what grew my back. You'll notice that I did not include traps. I don't do them on back day. I actually include them on shoulder day. Just because I want to make sure that I have everything that I need to bring the intensity on back day. It takes a lot out of me to grow my back. It's a huge muscle, whereas the shoulders are not quite as large of a muscle group. So I throw the traps in there. But if you want to put them in on back day, they definitely are connected to the back and they are a part of it. So it makes total sense to me. I just don't do that. Anyway, we'll be back next time with shoulders. Ooh, I love shoulders. Let's get them nice and big, baby.